from BSIT1D, and today I am going to explain to you the math behind AI predictions. Since you are now in the modern world, have you ever wondered how Spotify knows what song you love next? Or how YouTube suggests the perfect video? It's not magic, it's math. AI uses probability and statistics to make predictions based on what you like. Imagine you just listened to a Taylor Swift song on Spotify. AI doesn't just guess your next song, it calculates the probability. For example, 1,000 people who listen to Taylor Swift also like Olivia Rodrigo. Out of those, 800 also listen to Sabrina Carpenter. So, the probability that you'll like Sabrina Carpenter's song is... Ta-da! Here's the formula used to solve the probability of you liking her songs. 800 represents Sabrina's listener, and if we divide it to 1,000, which represents Taylor's listener, you'll get 0.8 or 80% if we convert it to percentage. Since 80% is a high probability, AI recommends her song next. You are probably wondering, how does this connect to the mathematics in the modern world? AI relies on number 1, probability that predicts what users will like. Number 2, statistics which uses past data to improve accuracy, and patterns that finds relationships between users and music. This same math applies to Netflix, YouTube, and even online shopping recommendations like Shopee. So here's the conclusion. Next time you get a perfect song suggestion, remember, it's not just AI, it's mathematics in the modern world making the right guess for you. Next, we have here Gian Policarpio to discuss measures of central tendency. Bye!
Good day everyone, my name is James B. Policarpio. Today I will be explaining the measures of central tendency, or the simple term is mean, median, mode, and range. Before the 2014 curriculum reforms, students are to learn about all 4 types of average and solve their problems based on their applications. So we're gonna start off with mean. Mean is an average which is found by adding all the values in a set of data, dividing it by its total number of values added together. For example, if 5 students scored 70, 85, 90, 75, and 80, this helps teachers with calculating students' grades properly. Now this is one example of mean. Now, with that, we're going to transition to median. Median is the middle number in the set of values. You can find it by putting numbers in order from smallest to largest. An example for median is arranging a data of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 in an ascending order, then identify the 2 middle values, which is 5 and 7, and then calculate their average. This is one example of median. And now, so we're gonna go transition to mode. Mode is the number of value which appears most often in the set. To find the mode, you need to count the values each time it appears. For example, a data set of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and 4. The mode in this example is 3, which appeared more times than the other data. With that, to make this faster, we're moving to the last of the 4, which is range. Range is the difference between the lowest and highest value. A simple example of this is an example of data set 2, 5, 8, 10, and 3. The highest number or data in this set is 10, and the lowest would be 2. Now, by minusing these 2 numbers, you will get 8 as the main range. And with that, we're gonna go transition to Princess Rose Perez.
Good day everyone, my name is Princess Rose Perez and I'm here to tackle about the Pythagorean theorem. What is Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem is a fundamental concept in geometry discovered by ancient Greek mathematician and philosopher Pythagoras. The Pythagorean theorem is a mathematical concept that describes the relation between the length of sides of a rectangle triangle. It states a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. where A and B are the lengths of the two triangles that forms a right angle in a triangle. C is the length of the hypotenuse, which is the side opposite the right angle. In other words, if you square the length of the two triangles of a right angle, in other words, if you square the lengths of the two sides of the right triangle and add them up, the result is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. First, what is hypotenuse in right angle? In right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle. It is the side opposite the right angle. In other words, if you have a triangle with one angle that's 90 degrees, the hypotenuse is the side that directly across from the right angle. Always remember that the hypotenuse is the longest side of the right angled triangle. That's all about the Pythagorean theorem. Goodbye, guys!
So what is golden ratio? The golden ratio, often represented by the Greek letter phi, is an irrational mathematically constant, approximately equal to 1.618. It's been known as the study for millennia, referring to the various aspects of mathematics, especially in arts, architecture, and nature. The golden ratio is defined as the ratio between two quantities, such the ratio of the sum of the quantities to the larger quantity is equal to the ratio of the larger quantity to the smaller quantity. They express algebraically as A over B, A plus B over A equals to phi, where A represents the larger quantity and B represents the smaller quantity. And solving this equation from pi, got the value. Pi equals 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2, approximately equal to 1.618.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. My name is John Kenneth Romano, and here we will now discuss the margin of error. So what is the margin of error? So the margin of error, so to speak, is a statistic expressing the amount of a random sampling error in the result of a survey. The larger the margin of error, the less confidence one should have that a full result would reflect the result of a census of the entire population. So the question is, why do we use the margin of error? We use the margin of error in research and statistics to quantify the uncertainty or potential variation in a survey or on an experiment result and determine the range within which the true population value is likely to fall given a specific sample size and confidence level. For an example, what is the margin of error if the total sample from a population is 600 from a population of 1,000? To solve this, we will have to use the Slovin's formula, which is right here. But before we proceed to that, let's talk about the precision level or confidence interval. In statistics, precision level refers to the degree of accuracy of the range within which a population parameter is estimated to lie, often expressed as a margin of error or a confidence interval. Precision in this context relates to how close the sample estimates are to each other, indicating the consistency and stability of the measurements. Imagine measuring the height of a tree multiple times. If the measurements are all very close to each other, but consistently off by a few inches, then the measurements are precise, but not accurate. So let's go back to the problem at hand. So what is the margin of error if the total sample size is 600 in a population of 1,000? To solve this, we need to find the quotient between 1,000 and 600, then minus that to 1. Then take that result, divide it to the population size again, which is now 0.667, and find the square root of that number, which is now 0.816. Then convert it to the percentage form, which is now 8.16%. And that's it for the video. I hope you have learned something in this compilation of discussions. J.K. Romano, out.